All right, welcome everyone. We're doing the tier list. We're doing the cheap tier list, cheap content for what is this? Second day of Retold for premium users. So figuring out who are the best gods and who are the worst gods in the game right now, the way I see it. So let's just start with. For some reason, we have the minor gods here as well, but I guess we'll just go with major gods as we find them. So Poseidon, here is one. Greek god. First of all, let me just say, I think Greeks are the best civ in the game. Only contender is really Egypt. I think Egypt is very, very strong too, but I think Greek is the strongest. So Poseidon, how good is he? I would honestly say maybe S tier, maybe A tier. I'm not quite sure. One of these two. I'll put him A tier for now. Maybe later I'll put him into an S tier. Reason I think Greek is so good, by the way, is that you can advance at 330 and you can get both of your heroes out and you can get that early Centaur or Minotaur or whatever it is, depending on your minor god choice, obviously. But you can assert so much pressure on your opponent with those three units. And what's changed from the old game to the new game is that heroes no longer requires idle TC time. You can still train villagers while you're making heroes. And this just makes Greek really, really, really strong. They get to put all the early pressure while still booming. And you can get those two heroes out and the early second TC, and it's for most gods they have a really hard time keeping up with it. So Poseidon, A or S tier. We'll figure it out as we go. And here we have Ra. I think Ra was broken in the beta test when he had the Pharaoh empowerment on monuments, where basically everything around the monument would have the Pharaoh empowerment on it. That thing is still there, except now it's only affected by 60% of what it used to be. So basically, it's like when you do that little trick, the Pharaoh on the monument, it's like everything is empowered by a priest, but nothing is empowered by a Pharaoh, except the monument. So you get an increased favor rate, but still, that is a significant nerf to Ra from the beta test until now, and this is enough for me to put Ra B, C. We'll see where it goes, how we do the list here, but I don't think Ra is that good anymore with that change, I'm sorry to say. He does have some really nice strength with being able to cast rain like 3 times in a row, basically. Can really just get an insane food economy going. And he does have the monument. Well, he doesn't even have cheaper monuments anymore, but he's got access to best, and he can make Sphinx spam and a bunch of funny stuff. I don't think he's. I don't think he can compete with Greeks, and I think even Odin and Loki are very strong against him with access to Njord, and I say Isis and Set are superior to him as well. So yeah, he's no more than a C tier in my book. Then we also have Set. He's an S tier. Set is absolutely broken. The animals are so strong. They don't have any counters. Heroes don't counter the animals. Villagers don't counter the animals. Yeah, they can shoot their arrow, but they don't deal very much damage to them. And he's also got access to Anubis. Anubis is really strong. This Plague of Serpents god power gives 16 snakes on land or on sea. So on Mediterranean, for example, you can get 16 sea snakes out just outside of your opponent's docks. It's really, really broken. And the same thing applies that I just said about the animals. Same thing applies with the serpents. They have no counters. So they're very, very, very good. And what else about that? He's got access to Thoth. I think Thoth is really good. Meteor is broken. Destroys a town center, kills a bunch of vills, a bunch of houses and the temple and all kinds of crap. Plus, he's got that Valley of the Kings upgrade where you get 2 elephants for the price of 1. So all in all, Set, stupid, broken, disgusting god. And if you want to be good at Retold, you should learn Set. Who else? We've got Kronos. Kronos is an interesting one. I don't think he's that strong, if you ask me. He's Atlantean, and I would say Atlantean is probably the weakest of the 4 civs right now. Not only that, he doesn't have access to Oceanus, and I would say Oceanus is the strongest minor god choice for Atlanteans. So just these two factors already puts Kronos at a bit of an awkward place. So he does have a lot of good things going for him. The double myth unit is really, really cool. Deconstruct is good on water. He gets 2 myth units on water as well. So I would say for tournament play, or I don't know. It's not unlikely that we are going to see some Kronos in tournaments, but I don't think a lot of people are going to want to play Kronos as a try-hard god to climb the ladder. I just don't see it. The Prometheans are okay, but the Termas are no good, and the Mamelos, you really need Bite of the Shark in order for them to be good. So Kronos is in an awkward spot where I don't really know where his power lies, except for maybe Hyperion in the heroic age. Other than that, well, he's got the deconstruct on docks, and he's got the double myth unit on water. So that's probably where his power lies, if I were to guess, is on water maps, and maybe even only in tournament play, because there are still better gods that you want on water maps. So he's a C tier in my book. We have Isis. I think Isis is strong. Not as strong as Set, so I'll put her A tier. But she still has access to Anubis, still has access to Thoth, but the big drawback on her is the fact that she doesn't have animals like Set does, and animals are broken. So she's going to be an A tier. She does have access to Ancestor's Eclipse, which is still strong. Doesn't get countered by Ceasefire actually. Somewhat countered, but not really, because there's still 30 seconds left of the Ancestors if the opponent uses Ceasefire there. And yeah, I think she's just really good. Prosperity is a good god power. So she doesn't have the animals, but she does have Prosperity. Could make some interesting build orders where you go double Prosperity, similar to what you would do with Ra and Rain. But Prosperity is fairly expensive. I think it's like 50 or 55 favor to recast it. Either way, she's really strong. Mostly, I would say, because of her minor god choices. And just the fact that she's Egyptian. Egyptians are decent enough. Who else? We've got Loki. Loki's hard for me to place, actually. I think he's got a lot of potential. But at the same time, I do think he will struggle in a lot of matchups. Like the Greeks, for example, will put a lot of pressure on him early. And depending on what the map layout is like, he can struggle to either secure food in the beginning or get to a second gold mine later on. I still think he's super strong, and yeah, he's probably A tier. He should probably be A tier. Still would probably put him behind these two, so I think that's where he belongs. I like to go with Heimdall with Loki. I think Heimdall is super good in a lot of situations, but not versus gods that can put pressure on you early on. The reason Heimdall is good is because of the Reek's Tula upgrade, and Reek's Tula takes some time to get going. So if you're being rushed by Greek heroes and there's Hibicons running all over you and stuff, it's going to be too hard for that upgrade to really kick in. But Loki is good. He's also got access to Njord, who's a really, really good, probably maybe a bit broken heroic age god power. So he does belong in the A tier, I think. I'm not reading chat right now, because I can't really when I'm doing the thing. Alright, we have... Who else do we have? Another major god. Zeus. Zeus is Greek. He's really, really standard. I would put him A tier. Zeus, I think, is the one thing that Zeus is really, really good at is denying the opponent's town center while still getting one himself. And the ability to get those 2 early heroes and the Minotaur or the Centaur out, like I was talking about with Poseidon, plus having Bolt available. You can just assert so much pressure and it's almost for free. And what you do behind it, whether you just keep spamming units to your opponent or you go booming or you go fast heroic, fast mythic, whatever it is you want to do. He's so versatile and he's so strong and good at what he does. So he's A tier for me. I'll put him in strong A tier as well. Maybe not quite Set level, but he's A tier. Got Thor. I think Thor sucks. I think he's C tier. That said, on Nile Shallows, Elysium, and certain maps, he's got a really, really good build order where you can lure aggressive animals under TC, and then you can build an early armory and just spam those armories and get those free dwarfs rolling. That's really good. So I think for certain maps, Thor is A tier, potentially even S tier, not even sure. But in general, he's a C tier, potentially even D tier. I don't like his design. It's so reliant on getting those three dwarfs out early. If you don't do that, why are you playing Thor? Why don't you play Odin or Loki or Freyr for that matter? If you don't get those early dwarfs out, and then, like I said, on certain maps where you can lure aggressive animals onto your TC, I think Thor thrives there, and in those cases, he's really good. Will be interesting when we have tournaments with Red Bull Wololo, because I think a lot of people should. Oh, actually, I put S tier here. I think people should really experiment with Thor on Nile Shallows, Elysium, and those maps where you can lure aggressive animals on the TC. I think he is really, really good there, but I gotta put him C tier. He deserves nothing more than that. So who else do we have? Who else? Hades, another Greek. I'll just put him A tier as well. Is he better than I'd probably say A tier. I think Hades is super strong. Sentinel is an amazing god power. It's so hard to raid when there are sentinels nearby because they have a really good track rating. Unlike town center and towers, they're almost certain to hit whenever there are raiders and stuff like that. So I'll say he's a really, really strong A tier. Maybe S tier. Strong A or maybe S tier, not sure. But Hades is super strong. He's also got what is it, more durable myth units, so you can spam Minotaurs with plus 20% HP, and they're so fast. And he's got access to Curse. He's got the free ballistics in Heroic Age. Really, really, really good god. And I don't see many people playing him. I don't know why. I think when people start really understanding the meta, starting understanding the game, I think more and more people are going to lean towards Hades, except other than these two. I think Poseidon, Zeus, maybe a bit easier to play, but then Hades, you gotta understand the meta, gotta understand the maps and how you macro, and then I think Hades is really gonna shine. We have Odin. Odin, could be a bit controversial. I'm sure a lot of people will say he's super strong, and he's probably stronger than Loki, so he belongs here. Maybe stronger than Isis too. He did get some significant nerfs from the beta up until release, and those nerfs are almost a halving of his regeneration. Went from 0.8 HP per second to 0.5, and his Great Hall units no longer have plus 10% HP. It's a very, very significant change for him, and I'm not sure where that puts him. I think a lot of people don't really want to play Odin now because we saw so much of him during the beta where he was super strong. He could be like A tier. He could even be like maybe just here or here. I don't know. I don't know where he's going to land. I haven't seen that much Odin in the release. I haven't played with him during release as well. So I think for now I'll place him here. The big drawback from playing Odin is that set hard counters Norse. Really, really hard counters Norse. And I also think Greeks counters Norse on a lot of maps where resources are scarce or difficult to get to. So yeah, like I said, just take this placement with a grain of salt. I'm not sure where he belongs. I'll place him here, I guess. Not finally, we've got Gaia. Gaia sucks. She's Atlantean, maybe B tier. She's got access to Oceanus, and Oceanus is really good and underappreciated right now. Not a lot of people has messed around with it, but when you micro those Caladria from Oceanus and you get the hero Mermillos out with Bite of the Shark, you can really get some extreme value out of those units. She's also got the 2 hero citizens in the beginning. She's just a really good all-around pick for the Atlanteans. So I would say she's stronger than Kronos. Maybe C tier, B tier. I'll put a B tier. There is a lot of potential with Gaia. Maybe on water maps too, actually. Because of how good the plant is on water. You can instantly take down a boat. And you can recast it again after, I think, 2 minutes. And that's really, really strong. I'll put a B tier. Because she's got access to Oceanus. And then Uranos, I'll take him next. Uranos. I don't think... Once again, Uranos, he's got access to Oceanus. And he's got all the things that I just said that Gaia has, but he doesn't have free hero citizens in the beginning. He doesn't have cheaper upgrades. He doesn't have Gaia Forest. So he does have the sky passages, but they're so wonky to use and they're so hard. I don't know where to put him. I think he's got potential because he's got Oceanus and he's got the sky passages. So I'll place him above Kronos right here. There. Below Ra, I guess. I think if someone really puts in a lot of hours into learning Uranos, we could see a lot of good stuff coming out from him. But all the Woobly players who've been playing Uranos for the last 20 years and just now picking up Uranos, they'll find him incredibly weak. Because the way you used to play him, compared to how you should play him now, it's night and day. It's way, way different than how you used to be able to play him. He has Shockwave, and Shockwave is really good. So that's a good thing that he's got that Gaia doesn't. But other than that, I would place Gaia higher than Uranos. Alright, who are we missing? Are we missing anyone? Who's this? Thoth? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're missing Freyr, actually. He's not on this list. But Freyr, let's just pick Tyr as placeholder for Freyr. I'll place him... I think Freyr is really good on defensive maps, potentially. And then on a lot of maps he will fail, a bit like Thor does. But I'll put him B tier, maybe above Gaia even. I think he's good. I think you really need to work on your build order, because doing everything, getting all your timings right, getting that Asgardian Bastion, the classical age god power, in the right place at the right time, having hearses there to build it, it's so important. And you need to get your upgrades in, and you need to get your production out as well. Like build order is extremely important with Freyr. And yeah, I think once again, if people put in the hours, I think Freyr has a lot of potential, so could even be an A tier as well. For now, just like with Uranos and Gaia, like I say, they have a lot of potential, but gotta put him B tier. I think that's my list. What do you guys say in chat? Do you... wow, we see S++ for Freyr. Freyr has the rock giants, which are super strong. And he does have Fafnir, which is strong, and the Mythic Age God power. Is he a B tier? Should I put him B tier? Sorry, A tier. I'll put him B tier. Freyr late game is insane. I don't think so. Maybe early Mythic is good, but like super late game, I don't think he's that good. Like I said, take this with a grain of salt. I think on defensive maps and for people who has put in a lot of hours, I think he's a lot better than this. But Set is easy to pick up, the Greeks are easy to pick up, and Odin is easy to pick up. I think these 5 gods are my top 5. If they land where I place them here, I'm not so sure, but I think Set is broken, Greek in general is broken, and then Odin probably super strong too. And then Kronos, Thor, Loki, Freyr, maybe even Ra. On certain maps, they can be really, really good too. So I think Retold is fairly well balanced for a game that just came out. And you gotta give credit to everyone who's worked on it, myself included. I have been working with playtesting the game and giving my input on how I see the balance. So good job, me. This has been me, Soup. Thank you for watching. This is my tier list. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe and tell me where I'm wrong. Peace.